Tonight, on Debate Night, we're going to delve into the big question, does an animator exist? Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. On tonight's debate stage, we have two highly influential cartoon characters that have strong opposing opinions on a major topic, the possible existence of an animator. Let's introduce these two gentlemen. On the left is Dr. Art Gallery. Dr. Gallery is an adamant anti-animatorist, believing that the existence of an animator is impossible. He is the author of his recently published book, The Animator Delusion: Why It's Stupid to Believe an Intelligent Art Director is Involved in This Two-Dimensional World. Dr. Gallery takes a naturalistic approach to our world's creation. On my right is Dr. Drew A. Masterpiece. Dr. Masterpiece received his doctorate at the University of Hanna-Barbera. He is an outspoken animatorist, believing that an animator does exist. He authored the best-selling book, I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be a Randomly Moving Pixelated MP4 File Set at 6 frames per second. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Let's get started. Dr. Gallery, you have the mic to present your opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Tonight, I would like all of my listeners to come to the same conclusion as I have, that an animator certainly does not exist. To believe that a three-dimensional animator is right now drawing me and everyone else here frame by frame is utter nonsense. I mean, let's be real here. Our world is two-dimensional. Nowhere around us is there a three-dimensional object, let alone an animator with art supplies. A third dimension doesn't exist. Our two-dimensional world is all that there is or ever will be. The world we live in is cruel. There is no animator, no right, no wrong, no creativity, no voice actors, just blind, pitiless indifference. Our world only appears designed and drawn. So you may ask, where did our world come from? It's simple, really. Our world was a digital nothingness eons ago. Suddenly, out of nothing, a single pixel appeared. Over time, with digital selection and undirected mutation, the pixel evolved into a single line. That line eventually began to grow simple legs, 2 arms, and a circular head. The stick guy was our common ancestor. As more eons passed, our world became more complex, and the stick guys became the cartoon characters that we are today. You see, it's ridiculous to believe an animator is involved. And let me just say, if an animator does exist, who animated the animator? Doesn't the animator need to be animated? It's redundant. I hope this makes sense. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Gallery. Now, let's hear Dr. Drew A. Masterpiece's opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I'm so happy to be here tonight. As you all know, I'm here on this stage to defend the affirmative that an animator does exist. I believe that there are really compelling arguments and evidences that point to the non-cartoon cartoonist. First, we know that our world is a created world. We obviously came from somewhere. We didn't arise out of zeros and ones that popped onto a two-dimensional plane. Our two-dimensional world must have originated from an animator using a special software to conduct our every movement. Since the first cause of the two-dimensional world cannot be the two-dimensional world itself, it must be from another dimensional world, namely the third dimension. Second, our world appears designed and drawn because it is designed and drawn. An animator is the best explanation, is it not? Because of him, we move and have our being. And let me just say, to answer Dr. Gallery's objection, my colleagues and I do not believe in an animated animator. We believe that the animator is non-animated. How did our world come into being? The animator, using software and possibly a digital sketch pad, drew our world and animates us frame by frame. This is why we have purpose and meaning. Thank you.
Now, on to open discussion. Dr. Gallery, you may begin.
Let me get this straight, Mr. Masterpiece. You believe that an animator, right now as we speak, is sitting at a computer desk in some third dimension and is controlling our every movement.
Of course.
What utter nonsense.
It's true. Every movement we make he allows. Besides, I find it even more nonsensical to believe we have no meaning or purpose.
Look, I know it's disappointing to know that we're just pixelated stardust, but that's all we are. I mean, give me a break. To believe in an animator is nothing but pseudoscience. You can't prove any of this with science.
We can conclude that an animator exists by science. We know our world appeared suddenly and that it contains design. An animator would obviously explain these details.
This whole idea is preposterous.
Let me ask you something, Dr. Gallery. Where do you think our voices come from? Obviously, a naturalistic pixelated universe cannot explain that. Our voices are too complex to be generated by random processes.
What are you implying?
I believe our voices are coming from real people in the three-dimensional world, whom the animator has selected to best express our character traits.
That's ridiculous. Are you saying that my voice is coming from some 26-year-old dude sitting behind a microphone?
Yes, actually. I think you're right about that. Inevitably, we must all acknowledge that the animator has every right to do as he pleases.
Nonsense. Total nonsense. Cartoon characters are the ones in charge, not some animator who works in a fanciful office.
You're wrong, Dr. Gallery. The animator is the one in charge, not you. He is the one who wrote the script of our existence in 6 literal days.
Gentlemen, we're running out of time. We'll end with your closing thoughts. Dr. Gallery, go ahead.
As my audience can probably notice, my opponent is totally out of his mind. Think how absurd this is. An animator, right now, is animating my arm to move around like this. And not only that, but he is the one in charge of my voice using a voice actor? I mean, come on. An animator most certainly does not exist.
Thank you, Dr. Gallery. Now, Dr. Masterpiece, if you would, with your closing statement.
I conclude tonight's debate with 2 evidences that prove the animator's existence, that our two-dimensional world had a beginning, and that it is designed. My hope is that Dr. Gallery, by the animator's will, would one day be saved, and that his file would enter into the great hard drive. Thank you.
Thank you, audience, for listening. Next week, 2 puppets will come on the stage to debate free will. Have a good evening.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.